Well, hello, friends. Tonight we're going to be getting a little Fae. So, we're going to be doing another flashback to. This was actually just late last year when Jace got unbanned that this made a resurgence, but this was one of the original modern decks along with Affinity. This is Blue Black Faeries. So, we're basically playing Blue Black Control, and we're going to be playing a weird tempo control list. So, I do have a couple of concerns about this deck list. First of all is the land count. Second of all is I'm not actually running the 4 Mistbind clicks. Always Jace and Liliana are a weird combo together. Sometimes they're just fantastic, like when you bounce and make them discard. Sometimes Lily makes you discard cards and Jace wants you to draw cards. But we're hopefully going to have some fun on this one. First and foremost is Bitterblossom. I love this card. It's a tribal enchantment. It occasionally splashes in for Jund to make Goyfs bigger. You can usually feel pretty confident paying 1 life to get a 1/1. At least it's a chump blocker. If there's no board state, it helps you push. Spellstutter Sprite is going to be our primary tempo card here. So hopefully we're going to flash it in, counter a spell, put another fairy on the table. If we've had an active Bitterblossom, hopefully Spellstutter Sprite's going to be countering some pretty big stuff for 2 mana. Vendilion Click is an all-star. I'm sure many of you have been beat down by it from control lists, and it can flash in, attack. It's a pretty decent champion target. On top of all this, we get our Mistbind Click. Like I said, I'm only running 2 of these. I'm not overly confident with that number, but we're getting a little tax on 4 drops, and Modern is super fast right now. Mistbind Click is kind of unique. Anybody who's never played with Champion before, this is going to make us actually tuck a fairy underneath it, similar to an Oblivion Ring effect. And if we do, we get to tap down all lands. So hopefully we do this during the upkeep, tap down all lands. If we end up getting in this fun little... We could basically infinite combo if we find a way to flicker it or actually get 2 Mistbind clicks just tapping each other down. As I stated, Jace and Liliana are kind of counterproductive in their strategies. Jace's minus and Lily's plus is fantastic. Lily's minus and Jace's plus is fantastic, but they do different things on different boards. We end up getting our powerful suite of blue-black cards like Cryptic Command, Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Snapcaster, Mana Leak, just basically all those cards that you want to see in Grixis. Just a lot of good premium blue-black cards. Snapcaster is our only way to utilize the graveyard, so we end up running a Murderous Cut so we can devil away some of those creatures for cheap removal and unconditional removal. We suffer a little bit on getting rid of like indestructible threats, but hopefully we're going to be countering them, making them so that they don't come down. But yeah, going to be playing a little bit of Faeries tonight. I know Morrow does his polls and stuff like that, and one of the planes that they are looking to visit is a fairy tale plane. There's a pretty big difference between a fairy and, I'm not overly up to date on my lore, but pixies. Pixies are going to be like the magical, like fairy godmother style, and fairies are like the tricky, nasty creatures that pick apart your brain. This is a very, very awkward hand, but we have 2 Bitterblossoms, and I kind of just want to play Bitterblossom tonight. So this is going to be 13 doing stupid 13 things. Ideal hand for us basically starts off with discard and moves into counter magic, and of course I want to play Fairies when opponent's going to be Uganing me. Alright, well, I'm putting out the colored source first. If we draw an island, we want an island because this Cryptic Command is live to countering their big stuff. Oh, all the fun stuff always seems to happen to me. Why does it feel like we play so much Tron? Alright, and they have natural Tron here. I'm not really going to bluff anything. Like, if they have Tron and a threat, they have Tron and a threat. We'll move on with our lives. This deck is not very well set up to beat Tron, and we do have 3 Fulminators on the board, which is kind of okay. But odds are Karn's going to come down, take our swamp. We won't have any colored sources, or they just set up for an Ugin and clear away our entire board. Yeah. Fun interactive magic. Alright, Fulminators come in. Negates definitely come in. Strokes come in. As far as cuts, Inquisition's okay for grabbing their cantrips, but Fatal Push is absolutely awful. Thoughtseize goes up, Liliana goes up. Collective Brutality doesn't do a whole lot by itself. Murderous Cut is probably a cut here. It can grab a Wormcoil Engine, but I don't really think that's where I want to be at. Last Hope's going to be picking up our Fulminator mages to get multiple land destructions out. Glenolendra is fantastic to counter their threats and still keep something on the table. V-Click's a clock. We need to be able to apply pressure. Spellstutter Sprite seems among our most awful cards. It might be just a Bitterblossom. We're not going to want to sit around and try to get a critical mass of 1/1s. It's also just so weak to Ugin. Alright, so this is Spellstutter Sprite on their cantrip into negate and start tapping stuff down. That seems acceptable. Polluted Delta is going to get our watery grave here. We don't have any of our designated hate, but we have land drops, we have interaction pieces. Opponent keeps on 6 and scries to the top. Yeah, Tron just got so strong with the new Karn. Yep. You get a sphere. Grab our watery grave, enter tapped. Ooh, Mana Leak's not bad. Gonna have to fire this off fairly quick, at least in comparison to the other things. If they end up having a 2-drop here, likely gonna Mana Leak it. If they have a 1-drop, gonna Spellstutter Sprite. Definitely killing the Sylvan Scrying if we see it. Yep. No Sylvan Scrying for you. And knowing my luck of late, opponent's definitely going to have natural Tron, but hopefully this negate will get some work in. End step, likely running out the Spellstutter Sprite so I can Mistbind click. Yep. Alright, Fairy Conclave's kind of poorly timed, but what this lets us set up for is I'm going to set a stop on their upkeep. If I don't champion something, I actually have to sacrifice this, so I'm hoping that they're not on Dismember or Spatial Contortion, but I get to Mistbind click here. Should tap down all their lands. And then I'll have a 4/4 threat out, so I can actually put them on a timer while holding up counter magic. Okay, champion that guy. And tap down your lands. Of course, they're just going to draw mine and actually have 3 mana, but... Ooh, or not. Alright, so Mutavault's representing 6 damage. 6 times 3 is 18, so that's not really expediting the clock at all. Fairy Conclave coming down is actually going to allow us to activate Mutavault and Conclave. So I'm going to hold up Cryptic Command here. If they make their land drop, they can only Karn, which means I'll just counter and bounce the land and buy another turn, and we should actually be able to take this one. If they miss a land drop, still just going to bounce and draw. I guess I don't need that stop right now. Yep, alright. So, still a game there. Dismember still doesn't mean a lot. Yeah, I think we're pretty much priced into this. My sideboard might be overly committed for burn with these Collected Brutalities. We put forth a kind of small clock, which is, again, why I wanted more Mistbind clicks. But Spellstutter Sprite actually does some work against burn. We probably don't need all 4 of these Collected Brutalities. There could probably be an argument for, I don't know, the blue-black counter squall. Target player loses 2 life, counter target non-creature. This deck's actually super primed for the new Pact of Negation, I think is what they call it. The new Force of Will for non-creatures. Might see a little bit more Faeries then. Alright, so opponent did take a second to actually sideboard. I'm kind of thinking they didn't know that we were Faeries when we first started. And this hand does absolutely nothing. I have an Inquisition, but no blue source. I get a Scry and draw. So I'm going to see 3 cards to keep this. I have Spellstutter, Negate, Disdainful Stroke. I don't have a real enough clock there. Alright, well, we have a Field of Ruin and a Mistbind. I think I have to bottom this. I have to find a piece of discard or a counter spell. Otherwise, this is just not going to go well. Yep, opponent gets their star. Urborg. So I'm not doing anything this turn. I understand that's going to come and play on tap next turn, but I have nothing to bluff. I'm not going to be keeping Fatal Push in my deck, and I don't have a blue source, so it's not like it can hold up Spell Pierce or anything like that. We also mulled to 5, so opponents got to know that we're on basically nothing. Opponent did actually mull to 5, and they put a card on bottom as well, but they are just over there assembling Tron like a champ. Alright, so this means I'm probably going to run out Snapcaster just so I can put 2 damage on the table and then hold up the Field of Ruin. Hopefully they're on blanks. Oh, look at that. Mull to 5, natural Tron. Into New Karn. Yep. So, depending on what this is, I can at least chip Karn down to 1 and blow up a Tron land. So, Tower was the last one that they ran out. They didn't tutor any, which means they probably don't have a redundant Tower. Alright, well, fortunately for us, we have 4 drops in hand against the Trinisphere. And that Trinisphere does technically go both ways, so let's hit Karn. And I'm doing this now. Opponent won't be able to do anything with the 1 mana that we give them. And this is also going to get us blue mana for our Cryptic Command. Ship it on back, and hopefully opponent's on blanks. Cryptic Command should help solve a lot of problems for next turn. If they're paying 1 mana for Chromatic Spheres and Stars, like, I'm perfectly happy with that. Expedition map. Alright, so I at least get to kill Karn. Till your next turn? Yeah, that's fine. Fairy Conclave is just mildly slow. I do need the blue mana here, though. I'm actually just going to lose. So what's going to happen is they'll pay 2, crack the Expedition map, go grab Mycosynth Lattice, and kill me. Oh, no, they'll have to sack Karn to do that. So, yeah, for the time being, Fairy Conclave comes out just so I can hold up Cryptic Command. Trinisphere successfully blocks Karn. Yeah, I don't like this card. Turning Tron, who is already the boogeyman of the format, into a prison deck is just absolutely miserable. Oh, look at that. Never mind, they just drew red into it. Alright, so Ugin's going to shoot Snap. Trinisphere's going to start getting beats in. Inquisition's going to cost 3. Urborg could potentially help them cast a Dismember without paying life, so I'm going to wait as long as I can to enable that. Fairy Conclave becoming a 2/1 isn't going to matter much, so opponent's going to have 1 turn to plus Ugin, and yeah, fun fair magic right here. So opponent's probably got to have the read that I have some piece of interaction for this. This gets to go get them another tower or a Sanctum. Yep, there's the Sanctum. And they have a Karn. I don't understand how that's a thing. New banned and restricted announcement was today. I should actually see if I can pull that up. So the design team, actually, I don't think it's the design team that puts those out. Love to play first. So they did actually mention that there's some concern about where the Spark cards for the Neoform Allosaurus deck against Chondra and the Celestial Kirin and Karn the Creator and Mycosynth Lattice, but they didn't want to do anything about it yet. Oh, no colored sources. This is a little bit better. I'm actually okay with this. V-click is exactly what I want to be doing. So they're aware it could potentially be a problem, but they really don't want to address it yet. Alright, so that's a thing. I can potentially be getting Spell Pierced here. The opponent doesn't have a one-dropper. They would have ran it out already for the Spellstutter. So Spellstutter Sprite's not good enough. I'm hoping that they're not on Spell Pierce and trying to jam this Bitterblossom. Gonna make this Spellstutter freaking amazing if we rotate back to our turn. Also, holding up Spellstutter and V-click is just so awesome. Alright, and the trick for Mutavault here is I can actually activate it to get an additional fairy if they make a 3-drop. I'm not sure what opponent's playing over there, showing 2 basic islands but not making any other plays. This could potentially be the mono-blue Living In deck. And I actually don't have blue mana here. So V-click is off the table. Spellstutter's fine though, so... Oh, I need to... Newly controlled. This one taps for mana, this one becomes active. I'm kind of expecting a Stiflebird coming down. Oh, Dictative Crewfix. Alright. So I have Spellstutter Sprite for one of their cantrips. Oh, I actually could have countered that. I'm not very smart. Alright, well, I can counter a 3-drop here, so... Them giving me gas is just going to give me more to play with. 4 mana for a Jace is fine. I'm just going to kill it. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. Ooh, and Polluted Delta is my blue source. Alright, so at this point, I can double Spellstutter Sprite, and I have lethal Faeries, assuming opponent can't do anything. So I'm not even going to activate my Mutavaults. This is mono blue turns, if I didn't say it, by the way. That's what the Dictative Crucifix put me on. Alright, so Time Warp is 5 mana, so this is going to be another fairy for me. Then I get a Spellstutter Sprite off of this guy. I control 5 fairies, so it's going to get countered. And I'm pretty sure we just locked this one up. Opponent's not going to be able to multi-turn spell. And how much do I actually have on the table? So I have 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 damage coming at him, so I just need to survive for one more turn. Lily's not going to do anything here. The Spellstutter Sprite is only going to get 1 counter off, though, which means I can attack in with both Mutavaults, hold up 1 Spellstutter Sprite. Given how much damage I have, I think this means I'm only attacking in with 1 Mutavault. Then that way I can activate the other one on defense in case they try to cast a 7 mana extra turn spell. Okay, so that's activate or V-click it in step. Yep, I'm happy with all that. As long as they don't miracle, I should be pretty safe here. Alright, so another Spellstutter Sprite. If I tap properly, because that's what you're supposed to do. Counter Time Warp. They should only have 1 mana left. Lethal on the backswing, and Faeries doing fairy things. Yep. Alright, so turns. Negate, Disdainful Stroke. Fulminator doesn't really do anything. Leyline of the Void, they're probably on the Snapcaster build. Duress definitely comes in. Fatal Push definitely comes out. I don't think this is worth bringing in just for Snapcaster, though. Murderous Cut comes out. This can technically kill one of their lands if they start going off, but if they start going off, we've pretty much already lost at that point. Glen Elendra's fine. Miss Spine Click's fine. No, I start at 6:30 on Sunday and 6:30 Mountain on Sunday and Monday, just because I typically get migraines on Sunday, so this is the earliest that I can like start and finish and still not want to kill myself by the end of the day. So Lily Last Hope can come out. She's just too slow, and picking up a single creature from her graveyard is not going to matter versus mono blue. And I think that's where I want to be at. These Inquisitions are a little weak, but I'm not bringing in Leyline, and nothing else really seems active. But Faeries doing fairy things. I took significantly longer than opponent there. I usually try to play at a moderate speed. Oh, I need to update my record. So we lost to Tron. Yeah, you missed the Tron match. That was just like natural Tron both games. And this is beautiful. So Lily is actually really good against this deck, despite the fact that we're drawing multiple cards. And I get to start off with a tap land. I get an Urborg, Duress. Actually, I'm probably going to Thoughtseize first. This can come out turn 3. I'm going to be super sad if I draw into a Cryptic, but I have all the discard. Alright, opponents actually cantripping this game. I think they did keep a slow hand last game. They dictated into trying to time warp twice, and we just steamrolled them. This hand doesn't have much aggressiveness to it, but alright, I want to see what you kept, opponent. Alright. Ooh, Sun Droplet. So this is a good way for them to gain life. I don't know why they'd bring it in versus Faeries, but Dictative Crucifix is definitely coming out. That's their primary engine. Next turn we get a Duress and take the Temporal Mastery, I guess. They have 2 cards on top of the Serum Vision, so hopefully they have something new for me. Ooh, Spellstutter Sprite's a pretty good one. So I'm just... Actually, do I want to multi-mode this? I don't think I want to drain them, and there's no creature to kill. So nope. We're just going to Duress you, get rid of one of those turn spells. See what else you kept. Part the Watervel and Temporal Mastery. So this gets a little bit better if they have a Jace, which I could see them having. Part the Watervel is their Awaken land that I was saying I could potentially Murderous Cut. But whatever, if they're comboing off, they're going to win. So I'm just going to take the one that's potentially better to combo with. Alright, well, they get their miracle. Basically just an additional land drop for them, and seeing as how they only had Minimo, this is going to be... Like, they're going to have to draw into a land for this to matter. Wow, back-to-back? Okay, I need to see the odds of that. They are currently 11 in, so... As for now, I think I'm on Lily. So... Wait, they didn't cast their extra turn spell? Oh, they're going to try to dictate here. So, I can only get 2 fairies at the moment. If I put out Mutavault and use it to buff itself, I can... Yeah, I'm going to start taxing their hand. Out comes Lily. Yep, your dictate comes out. So I'm going to make them discard one of their 2 cards in hand, and I'm going to discard my Collective Brutality probably. Like, I can duress, but I know their hand is only a part the Water Veil, and they don't have enough mana for it yet. Before they cast that, I'll be ulting Lily. Yeah, they missed their land drop. V-click? Wait, this is upkeep. You want to wait until draw step. Alright, so I can Spellstutter Sprite, draw land. I don't think I want to do that. So I know opponent has part the Water Veil and one other thing in hand. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, tap this to activate itself. So I'll have an additional fairy in case I need it. Opponent has no way of killing it at the moment. Then I'm going to Snapcaster, target Thoughtseize. If I get any untapped land, it means that I can actually Thoughtseize this turn and still utilize all the mana that they're trying to tap down for me. Yep. Dictate. Not an untapped land. Oh well, we tried. So I'm not going to have another discard spell. I know they have part the Water Veil and probably another Time Warp-esque effect. I think the negate's going to be stronger than the Brutality. And I have the way of turning the Spellstutter Sprite on to counter something for 2 at the moment. 3. Assuming I get mana. So, alright opponent, you've got to find ways to take additional turns before I can activate my Lily, otherwise you're going to lose like all your land drops. Snapcaster for Sarah means they probably missed their land drop and they're trying to set one up. Alright, then I get Snappy Boy and a Watery Grave. Love that Watery Grave. So I'm going to plus probably discard Snap. I don't think he's doing a ton for me at the given moment. And probably just ship it back to opponent. This Lily ult's going to be how I win this game. Snap Negate is so tempting though. Whatever, we're fairies. I'm not discarding the Spellstutter Sprite. They discarded a Time Warp. So they're really valuing this part of the Water Veil. Typically when you play turns, you have one of these as a win condition. So they're probably not wanting to get rid of it, as this is going to be their primary attack engine. Assuming that they can't make Snapcaster happen. Alright, then I have the mana for everything else. So I'm going to Spellstutter Sprite that. They're just trying to set up. I think they're even trying to hit land drop, so just rather not let them filter. Alright, and then I'd love to draw a Lily so I can just cash this one out. Guess that's not happening. Bitterblossom is probably going to be good enough. I don't know, chat. How do we feel about Bitterblossom? Am I discarding it to Lily or just cashing Lily out here? Putting them down to 2 lands and having them be a turns deck feels just fantastic, and a Bitterblossom's going to have enough turns to win the game. Yeah, I think I'm on cashing Lily. It's just too good here. Alright, so 2 piles. I want them to have the Dictate and the Colorless Source, or everything else. Yeah, that's 2 lands and a creature. That seems fine. Yeah, that seems fine. Then that means I get to 2 mana, 2 mana. I can attack with 1 Mutavault. This isn't newly controlled, right? Yep. Okay. And opponent actually smartly, correctly, whatever you want to call it, kept the dictate. The dictate is going to be how they actually fish themselves back out of this. They're going to be able to hit all their land drops, probably find another way to draw 2 cards. This negate's going to help quite a bit, though. Yeah, all right. They make their land drop. They have a ton of, like, 5 drops in their deck. Please Giga Drouse me. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to let them... Yeah, they realized it wasn't going anywhere. All right, so we did show what happens if your opponent doesn't really have a whole lot going on. Faeries gets to get in there, be incredibly annoying, and just take the game away. We also did see kind of the flaws against Tron. Like, to be fair, Tron's its own disaster. Anybody watching me enough is like, you can't play fun decks versus Tron. Oh, I want to keep this so bad. I have Thoughtseize into Bitterblossom into Collective Brutality. Yeah, I'm keeping this. Again, I did mention I did think lands were going to be an issue for this deck. I think I'm only running 22. Let's see, 7, 9, 12, 14, 15, 17, 19. I'm running 23 lands, but 4 of them are Mutavaults. We also keep finding the one of Urborg a ton. Let's see what you got, opponent. You kept 7. All right, we have Affinity. So, multiple still Overseers. I'm kind of okay with that. The Arcbound Ravengers are really hard to deal with. Collective Brutality can snag an Overseer on turn 3, so definitely taking the Ravenger. They're going to be able to Spire of Industry, Memnite, Mox Opal. They can't dump their hand here. So, should be under a minute amount of pressure. Spellstutter Sprite's live. It can counter just so many things in their deck. Spire of Industry down, Opal down. Did they get Springleaf Drum? There's Memnite. All right, not live yet. And that's fine. So we get to Bitterblossom. All right, so Inkmoth is scary. That's Collective Brutality-able. And I need to find another removal spell for the other still Overseer in hand. Or just a Pestermite. Both are fine. Alright, so I'm actually super tempted to take this Brutality away, or this Galvanic Blast. We're going to be losing a moderate amount of life off this Bitterblossom, and that can also shoot down our Mistbind Click. So I'm actually going to escalate this. We're not very close to casting this Vendilion Click, and even if we are, we're going to cast Jason Mistbind Click first, so let's go ahead and Duress as well. There could be an argument to Drain, but I just really need to kill the Overseer. And it feels like there's enough upside here to take the blast. Oh, I didn't notice the Mox Opal was untapped. Yeah, that was a misplay on my part. I should have drained. Alright, and they have a Cranial Plating, which means I'm going to have to leave these Fairy Rogues back so that I can actually block the Inkmoth Nexus basically every turn. Although with Bitterblossom out, I'm probably going to be under enough pressure that regular damage will kill me before poison. Yep, so need to find removal. Otherwise, little things become big things. Well, that's actually a blue source, so I can champion, tap down lands. Opponent's not actually going to make this trade, and I have nothing else to do, so I'm going to go ahead and get in with Mutavault. And probably the Fairy Rogue. No, I can double block with the Fairy Rogue. That'll keep him back for at least a full turn. Untap blue source means bounce Overseer. I think I still just want removal for the Overseer. Yep, there's the plating. They can equip it on anything they want to. Although it might have been correct for them to run it out with their non-colored sources so they could instant speed move it. They are currently representing 4 or 5 damage off the cranial plating, so they could take out half our health if they actually just move it. Alright, Polluted Delta is A-okay, so that's going to allow me to get Jace online. Just grabbing a basic island here, I'm starting to get a little concerned about my life total. Jace comes down, they get to grow things, but this is going to be less of a problem in the immediate term. Brainstorm should become alive in a bit. Mistbind Click will buy me a turn as well as probably eat something. I have hopes and dreams. Oh, yeah, that's why they were doing it. That's correct. They know their deck way better than I do. Me being mostly dead would be nice, but... Let's see. Yeah, they can't one-shot me with Infect yet, which means they're probably just replaying the Steel Overseer. Nope, they want to get in. And I'll be a little interested. Yeah, they go all after Jace. So Jace is going to be fine with 1 health. I'm probably just going to eat up these. Actually, that's double black. Yeah, they can't even bluff the move. I'm not a huge fan of tapping the Spire. Okay, so I know 1 card in their hand. I think I want to kill the Ink Moth. No, the Ink Moth keeps costing mana. I'm going to kill the Midnight, assuming they let me. Oh, you have the Blast? Wait, what the heck? It's supposed to be black. How did they pay for that? Anybody in chat? How'd they get the second black? Oh, because I gave them swamps. I'm terrible at this game. Alright, well, go down lower on life. Take the Steel Overseer. Then I'm going to try to eat the Ornithopter here. Here comes Vault Scourge. I know their hand. Well, I guess I won't be able to actually eat it, but if they decide to attack it, I can at least offer the trade. This is going to tap down their lands, only their Ornithopter will be untapped. Bitterblossom will give me another blocker for the... Oh, I can hit my Bitterblossom with that? That is awesome! I'm so bad at Magic. So very bad at Magic. Bitterblossom's going to take away all my blockers. Yeah, I'm just going to have to do that. Tap down your lands. And I should have better top decks than Affinity. I need to find an answer for this cranial plating, but I should have better top decks than Affinity. And I can start swinging back for 10, assuming I get a land. Like, I know I'm still on defense, but when we can turn the corner, I can turn the corner. Yep. So, it's sad. I want to trade this for an Ornithopter, but... Champion to token, which means it doesn't come back. Lily of the Vel. So, black, 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 Lily. Make them sack Vault Scourge. I put myself on a 5-turn clock. I'm going to get hit for at least 3 Infect this turn. Or they just put up Blink Moth and put Cranial Plating on it, but yep. Infect Squad gets to get in. This time they're not going to have double black. Going after Lily. Yep, Lily down. Drums are alright. It's basically a dead draw. Mistbind Click. So that gives me the opportunity to get my Bitterblossom out of the way, as well as getting in some chip damage. So I need one more mana before I can attack with Mutavault and hold up Mistbind Click. Mistbind Click's probably going to start taking the Bitterblossom here pretty soon. Given the fact that all my opponent's threats are lands, this is pretty good though. Alright, so before opponent can attack it, I need to do some math here. So Mutavault is 4, 5, 6, 10. I can hit for 10, so I need one more turn. Alright, and then they're going to have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can't one-shot me with Infect here, so I should be pretty good just to block this for this turn. And they'll have me on Infect, but Mistbind Click will tap down all their lands. Am I doing that math right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I'm doing that math right. They don't have another artifact, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they're fine, and I can always activate Conclave if it comes to it. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Alright, Fatal Push is pretty good. So that means that one chump block. I'm still dead to Galvanic Blast, so I really need to start turning a corner here. I'm going to activate one Mutavault, actually both Mutavaults. Oh my gosh. Come on, 13, you got this. Hit for 5. Honestly, that's fine. You do you, opponent. I unfortunately have to let this happen because they'll have... Yeah, they won't have enough to move Cranial Plating twice. But getting in this 3 damage here means I should have lethal in the backswing with Mistbind Click. And they drew another land. Alright, so Inkmoth Nexus 1. And I actually need to make sure I kill the Blink Moth. Hopefully opponent sequences it in a way that I can kill the Blink Moth, because if they're planning on buffing an Ink Moth to get 10 damage, Fatal Pushing any of the artifacts should kill it. Now, I'm so sorry. I can mute Slack. I can't really mute my phone. So I think opponent's trying to piece it together. They've got to be feeling moderately safe here. But Mistbind should just tap down their team as long as they don't top deck another Galvanic Blast. And we should just be able to take it. Alright, we got this. Opponent's trying to figure out the best way to sequence this so that they can leave up their mana and actually get lethal attackers in. Do I actually still have lethal now that the other Mutavault's down? So that's 4, 5, 9. Yeah, so I attack in, I hit for that one more, tap down their lands, and then swing in for lethal the following turn. Still just need to make sure that they don't opal into blast after I put down Mistbind Click. Alright, I'm guessing the opponent had to step away for just a second. I did actually want to do the math on this one, so they were 11 cards in. I know this is a while back, I can't even remember what match we were playing. Oh, it was the Miracles. They had 3 of the Miracles. Sorry, 3 successes and 11 cards. No, number of successes in population 4. I think that's... No, I didn't do that right. Whatever, opponent came back. My head's only half here. I'm still trying to manage the text messages coming in. So opponent's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So as long as I kill one of these, I should be pretty safe not to die. But they're going to have to activate their Blink Moth to buff it and then pay the black to move it over. When they pay black to move it over, I'm going to push it. Yep, Cranial Plating goes over. So then they're going to pay 1 to make that a creature. And that's still only 9. Am I missing something here? Yeah, whatever. 9 poison. I am down a land now, which means I can't activate all of my man lands. Alright, Watery Grave tapped. Okay, let's make sure I do this right. Mistbind Click. We get to tap down all of your lands. We get to take the Bitterblossom, then we'll swing back for well over lethal. Just don't top deck blast. That's all I need. Especially now that I have the Fatal Push, I can kill whatever blocker they have, so that's awesome. I didn't need to use it. Alright, Cut's not a bad backup plan. So Mutavault becomes a creature. That is currently... This is lethal. So I am actually going to be 1 shy for holding up Fatal Push. But this is how Faeries is supposed to play. Coming back at 2 with 9 poison. Alright, so Fulminator Mage is an argument here. When opponent does start going wide on the Steel Overseer's Damnation is fantastic. The Collected Brutalities can snag something early, but they can't really deal with Arcbound Ravengers or a Steel Overseer when I'm in top deck, so I'm not overly excited about that one. Dismember's probably a consideration. I'm okay to pay life to get rid of something, especially on turn 1 if I need to, since they're on the play. They're going to make their 2-drop that's a threat, and then I can just dismember it on the spot. I think I do want these Damnations, but that probably means I'm going to make cuts. Vendilion Click trades with just about any of their flyers, so that can come out pretty safely. Fulminators, again, like it's so hard for control decks to deal with these man lands, which is why Affinity's done such a good job staying within the meta. Collected Brutality did show some horrible awkwardness there. I know against Hardened Skells, I've had Twitch chat telling me to bring in the ley lines. I understand that they work with modular triggers, but the sacrifice effect still is a thing, and this is the old school version, relying on Steel Overseer, not Hardened Skells, and the animation module. So I'm probably just doing this. I don't think I need these. These were in here for Tron, and we didn't even get a chance to use them. Yeah, that's probably looking the best. We get to target any of the problems on the field, though, and they kind of just try to put out mediocre threats. Yeah, Thoughtseize probably could have come out. What would come in, though? Just the other Fulminators? If we go to game 3, I'll take Thoughtseize out. Yeah, so like I'm gonna be able to Inquisition their turn 2 play. You're right, Thoughtseize is just dead here. I think I actually have to mulligan this because as much as I get turn 1 discard, turn 2 discard, the Fairy Conclave coming in tapped is a real cost, and the Mistbind Click's not going to do anything. I have no Fatal Push. If they just dump their hand, this is too slow. And this is a little bit more my speed, so I actually get a Fatal Push on 1. I do not need a 4th land. Take out the upkeep stop. They are actually probably on Experimental Frenzy. Might have had an argument for Disdainful Stroke. Although I don't think that's actually stuck around. I think that was kind of just a test. Plus opponents running multiple 2-drops. Like there's no Ethereum Sculpt. Not Ethereum Sculptor. The Star. Oh, I didn't mean to let that happen. Oh well, I was going to push this. He didn't get the Battle Cry, but it's 1 damage. If I get a Ravager or a Steel Overseer or something here, I'm happy. Alright, well, this is going to be a Watery Grave with a Shock. Ugh, that's ugly. Alright, Fatal Push the Signal Pest. Snapcaster is great. Bitterblossom comes out. We get to start buying time again. And updated the match record. We are currently up a game versus Affinity. So opponent should have Nature's Claim in the sideboard. I can't imagine they brought it in for Bitterblossom, but I guess that could be something. Yeah, I'll take 5 here. Odds are I'm going to be Snapcastering and then pushing the Cranial Plating target next turn, so... Alright, so opponent only has 1 black source that can't move this instant speed. Snapcaster comes down. I get my Fatal Push. Kill Ornithopter. And I get Mistbind Click. Ah, they do have it. Alright, well that's on me. Damnation should be perfectly acceptable here. So opponent is tapped out for a turn. They shouldn't have anything with haste, so I'm actually going to commit super hard into this board state. Just get a little bit of chip damage in. Because a future Cryptic Command can just set me up so nice. Although, depending on how hard they empty, I guess this Cranial Plating can kill me. I do have a Chump Blocker, but that might have been a little short-sighted. And another Ravager. That's a Signal Pest. Alright, so it looks like I might be Chump blocking next turn and then Damnationing after they clear most of the top of their deck away. That's a Jace. What does Jace do here? Jace, Brainstorm, Chump Block, everything, and Damnation the following turn. Alternatively, Misbind Click, take the Bitterblossom, because something's going unblocked, and that means Cranial Plating and probably all the Ravager counters are going on it. I am in a non-zero amount of danger here. So they have 3 man lands as well as 3 creatures. That's 6 things. Jace bouncing still going to leave 5, which means 1 thing goes unblocked. Jace Brainstorm into a land and a Fatal Push is probably my best play here. Alternatively, I can set up for Damnation, which is the only... I have a decent board state. I guess I could attack in Damnation, but they're just going to rebuild with Experimental Frenzy and I'll have nothing left to do for myself. That does get rid of 2 Arcbound Ravengers. But then they just equip the Cranial Plating on a manland and kill me. Because they'll have 6 artifacts bare minimum, plus anything they flip with Experimental Frenzy. I think that's how I die. So I'm going to Jace and hopefully find a Fatal Push and a land. Then I'll stay on defense and hopefully set up for a long game if I can start chaining together Cryptic Commands and Snap Cryptic. That's probably my best out here. Cryptic Bouncy Experimental Frenzy also seems fine if I can survive for another turn. Means like I can just tap down and bounce. They might replay it. I don't know. I'm kind of running out of options. Experimental Frenzy is significant card advantage for this deck. Typically, Faeries likes to get a little bit ahead on board and then just tap down their mana sources and swing in with a bunch of 1/1s turn after turn. And when Affinity can basically just drop its hand and deck. So click this turn. I would have a 4/4 out. They can only attack in with 3 things. That might have been a fair assessment. Because what they'd probably do is, in response to the click, probably just turn all these into artifacts and start sacking them and buffing something. Oh well. Not much to be said about it now. So this means I'm probably going to put... I can actually activate the mute... No, I can't. I was going to say I could activate the Mute Vault and block, but the trick is you make it a fairy. I think I'm going to put Field of Ruin below. No, I'd rather have Field of Ruin in play. So I'm going to put Mute Vault below and cover the Damnation. Sometimes these decks board into discard, so they could potentially have a Thoughtseize, and that's going to be super bad if they find it. I can run out the Field of Ruin and then ship it on over to opponent. I think opponent can kill me here, but if he can't, that means that I'll draw Damnation, clear the board after I've chump blocked my board away, and then start Misbind clicking and actually keep them away from casting things. Wow. Alright, so 3 Arcbound Ravagers off of a single Experimental Frenzy in a turn. That's pretty lucky. And three opals. I think that actually came at the start of the game, but still, like, back-to-back opals. I'm okay with that. I'd love it if you tap something down for a turn. And that's quite deadly. Oh boy, artifacts are coming. The nice thing about Frenzy is they can actually run out of gas. Like if they find a second land, they're just done for the turn. which means they have 2 colored sources, so they can instant speed move cranial plating, so I think I'm still dead. No, they'd only have 4 attackers at that point, so I think we're safe for another turn. Unless this is a blast. Alright, they keep confusing me by tapping that. So they can get a single black. Yeah, so they can't move the cranial plating instant speed. They can sack all the artifacts and kill me, though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'm dead. I'll make them actually commit into it, but I'm dead. Oddly enough, I am super dead, but I am fairly significantly less dead to infect. Yeah, Bradwan, you were right. I was supposed to misspine click them. Okay, they're spreading the love. Okay, they're barely buffing? I'm so confused. I mean, I know I'm dead, but they're doing it in a really weird way. Like, why would you grow this Arcbound Ravager and then invest into this one? And why would you actually put yourself in a position you have to sack your entire board when you could just equip a cranial plating at instant speed? Okay, they sacked the one, which means they have to sack the other one. Is anybody following this? Okay, yeah, you got it, opponent. In the most roundabout way you could possibly come up with. All right, what does this change? Thoughtseize definitely comes out. Fulminator comes in. Brutality doesn't get anything that I really care about. Negate for cranial plating seems kind of interesting. How do we feel about negate for Fulminator Mage? Or possibly Lily. At what price? Lily the Vel or Fulminator? I mean, Last Hope's not going anywhere. This can get, after they empty their hand, if the only thing in hand is Experimental Frenzy, I can snag that. So I'm thinking this. As cute as Fulminator is, it just means that they can't invest into a manland as early. Or invest into a manland if I have one out. We're on the play. We should be able to snag some stuff here. Like, this is a fantastic hand. Last Hope is just such a bomb. I get to hold up Spellstutter Sprite if I'm imagining a 1-drop coming out. I also get Bitterblossom, start setting up. This is probably a turn 4, but I also get a Fairy Conclave on one. I'd love an Inquisition. That would have been nice. Alright, opponent mulls to 5 and puts a card on top. Then this next Polluted Delta is getting me a Watery Grave. The weirdest sequencing from opponent. Like, your affinity, you should keep a hand that you can just dump on turn 1. Oh well, Bitterblossom comes out. That means they'll have Spellstutter Sprite up for 2, which is the majority of their deck next turn. They do get to land a single threat, but Lily's probably going to kill it depending on what it is. Yeah, Lily's going to force them to get rid of their Ravager and make a 1/3 Ornithopter. While having infinite chump blockers for Lily. Yeah, tasty. I think this is getting me a basic forest. I won't be able to, or not forest, swamp, but I actually have to get a watery grave. Then that way I can cryptic. I mean, I guess I could technically double Spellstutter Sprite off of a swamp, and that's probably my next turn. And I can Mistbind Click. Yeah, I'm going to preserve my life total and just get a swamp here. Shrinky Dink. Your go, opponent. Lily is quite awkward versus the manlands, but what you gonna do? Also, if I flash in Spellstutter Sprite to block, I can pick it back up with the Lily and counter another spell. Seems good. Alright, so opponent... Yeah, they're just done. Lily is a absolute beast in this matchup. So, Toget versus Affinity. Absolutely wrecked blue turns, and Tron made my butt hurt. He did inappropriate things to me, and I walked away feeling very uncomfortable with myself. But, I mean, that's what Tron does. Overall, though, Faeries doing a pretty good showing. Yeah, the lands are kind of a... I'm at 23. I think most of the Faeries lists were running either 24 or 25. So many of our lands are meant to be creatures and also be able to like fuel our mana and turn into threats later in the game. Why do I love these hands so much? Alright, so I'm on the play. If I need to, I can collect a Brutality. Otherwise, I'm probably on Bitterblossom, hold up Spellstutter Sprite. I am just one of any land type away from being able to cast Lily on 3. And by the way, are the fairy lands telling, like, if you see this island, are you imagining me playing fairies? Because it felt appropriate, but they're so pretty. These lands are ridiculously priced in paper and foil. I was looking at buying some for an Una Fairy deck that I never built, and I never built it because I wasn't going to be able to get the lands. Alright, this is a thing. So I don't think we're very well equipped for this. We get ley lines in the side, but we're just fixing their mana by running out this Urborg. I guess I get a Bitterblossom and hopefully have a couple of chump blockers out. Yeah, I should probably say this is Dredge. So they're going to fill their graveyard, use triggers to get a bunch of creatures to come back. Anything I remove is coming back the following turn. They hit a Creeping Chill already and a Dredge 5. Like, this is starting to be Tron level shenanigans. Just the 4 Creeping Chills and my Bitterblossom will kill me with 8 triggers from Bitterblossom. My mana base is not 0 damage either. Bloodghast is going to get turned on off of my own spells. They hit a Faithless Looting. So I'm expecting the opponent to have Loam in hand at this point. If they had Faithless Looting, they probably would have cast that on one. They also did hit a Dredge 4, which means if they have Faithless Looting, they're going to basically dredge their deck. That's an interesting unstable error message. Okay, now it loaded. Yeah, Last Hope would be fantastic here. Tapping for black because, you know, we help them. That's what we do on the stream. We help people. What's sad is that's actually not too far from the truth. Alright, Cathartic Reunion, discarding. They did have the Loam, so they just dredged 5. They're going to dredge 4. They get at least 1 prized amalgam back. Okay, as far as bad things go, that wasn't overly bad. But we are currently staring down 7 damage on the table, and we're on turn 2, damaging ourselves. Boy. So tapping down Dredge lands doesn't really do anything. So I'm probably on Brutality here. I can eat probably the Narcomoeba here. Making them discard is just to their advantage. Lily make them sack a permanent is going to sack a 1/1. Yeah, this matchup is just going to be atrocious. So I'm probably on escalate 3 modes. No, I think they got rid of all their... Oh boy. Kill a creature and drain, just that I stay in this a little bit longer. At least the tokens are going to keep the 3/3s at bay for a little while. Discard the Mistbind. Actually, Mistbind can profitably block the prized amalgam. I might need to hang on to that. I'll get rid of Lily. She just doesn't do much here. And then I probably have to take damage for a turn. Depends on what opponent dredges here. If they dredge Loam, they get a land drop and they'll just get back both their blood gas. Oh, would you look at that? Another dredge 5 and another creeping chill. I don't know what the odds are of my... Like, seriously? 3 Shriek Horns and 2 of them hit the exact same 2 cards. Alright, so there's another Narcomoeba without a prized amalgam to get. Conflagrate for 0. We're trying to figure out how to conflagrate for 0. I don't know what to make of myself. This has been a struggle. Dredge is not where you want to be at with the slow control deck. At least Terminus puts it back in the deck. Alright, Loam picks up some stuff. They're going to make their land drop, get their blood gassed. Just real quick, I think I'm going to listen to Seraphix here. I can draw Last Hope, which is good. I can cast my Mistbind Click and block for a couple of turns, but Conflagrate's lethal. They still have another Creeping Chill to draw into. They're the Faithless Looting too. I don't have a... They seriously found the other... Whatever. Yeah, let's just go to the other game. Absolutely ridiculous. Alright, Leyline comes in. Happy Leyline. Negate probably comes in. Negate Cathartic Reunion feels fantastic. They're just happy to get things into their graveyard, though. Thoughtseize is awful. Inquisition's awful. Fatal Push can keep me alive for at least a little while I set up to something. Damnation's probably a consideration. If I kill stuff, it just comes back, but to Seraphix's point, there are just so many dead cards in our deck. Unlike Legacy, they actually do require their mana base. They do hit points where they hardcast things. So, Fulminator's technically an option. Murder's Cut just feels bad. Jace is just slow. I feel like it's my catchphrase. I don't like any of this. It's so bad. I'm probably just going to trim a Lily here. If they blow up Leyline, Lily doesn't do anything. Sacking a creature doesn't do anything. Sacking their board doesn't really do anything. Yeah, Negate hits, Cathartic Reunion, Faithless Looting, although they're going to Faithless Looting on 1. Mana Leak's going to be live for just about anything. Yeah, I think that's just Lily coming out. I guess I could technically keep Brutality as a duress, although Inquisition's going to hit all their trophy and stuff anyway, so I'm actually a little more inclined to have some 1-drops here. Spellstutter Sprite's going to be the counterspell of choice, but... Oh boy. Glenolendra's just going to be fantastic. Yeah, Cut comes out. Maybe only 2 Inquisitions and take out the... Mana Leak's just going to be live. Maybe a Snappy Boy. Super Scientific. Love to play first. Look at that, it's a Leyline and a Spellstutter Sprite. I do like how Seraphix, after the Feather video, is just like, you keep that 7, you don't go to 4. Please help, bad at magic. Also, for what it's worth, Snap Keep does lean towards me having a Leyline. Yeah, I would probably do it too. Alright, so I probably have to Collective Brutality next turn if they just don't Nature's Claim me right here, which is always a possibility. Nope, it's a Shriekhorn that doesn't do anything. So, hey, we can hardcast another Leyline. I don't think I can do that, Seraphix, because if they had Nature's Claim, they would have cast it here. But if they have Assassin's Trophy, it's coming down next turn. And Spellstutter Sprite won't hit Assassin's Trophy unless I have another Fairy. So I think I have to Duress. If they have Nature's Claim and they just slow rolled it, I've seen more Assassin's Trophies out of these lists than Nature's Claims. But if they just slow rolled the Nature's Claim, I'm going to get it, so. Alright, Faithless Looting's their best card here. Life from the Loam doesn't do anything. Yeah, but it's not like they would have scried it to the top or anything like that. They already drew the card that they were going to draw. And they're hitting me? I should have kept Snapcast around. I mean, 100% after this, I'm holding up Spellstutter Sprite until the end of time. But at the current moment, like, I had to make sure that they didn't have an Assassin's Trophy in hand. Mana Leak is live. So odds are I'm going to Field of Ruin it in... Oh, I guess I can't. I have to wait until I have 4 mana to Field of Ruin. Alright, not sure why opponent's milling me, but they're doing it. Alright, this means Spellstutter Sprite and Negate, where this... Okay, so my sequencing here is I can't Field of Ruin without going down a mana, so I couldn't Mana Leak or Spellstutter Sprite if they're holding the instant. Drowned Catacombs means I could cast both of these, but odds are both aren't needed, so I'm actually going to run out my tap land here. It feels like it's going to have the most impact to allow me to have 5 mana next turn to Field of Ruin and Spellstutter Sprite or Mana Leak. Odds are this is going to turn into Strip Mine fairly quickly versus Dredge. I believe they end up running a single forest and potentially a single swamp. I don't think they run the mountain anymore, because they can cast most of their stuff through a Blood Moon. And that's a beautiful Snapcaster. So this is actually Snapcaster. Oh, we did? I think this is actually Snapcaster Inquisition with Spellstutter Sprite up, because they're not doing a whole lot, and this puts 2 damage on the table. Oh yeah, we saw 2 of the unstable mountains that didn't quite load properly. Yep, they're sitting on it, which means we get more damage out. And this should be game 3. Yay, Faeries! Alright, they have Loam, Stinkweed, Prized Amalgam. I guess it's just Stinkweed. It takes away one of their dredgers and also can be Death Touch. So Stinkweed's going to make it hard for my Fairies to get in, but they're likely not seeing their 3rd land for a little while here. I can even cast the other Leyline. Oh well. I just have opponent on the back foot. It actually might have even been correct to start activating my Fairy Conclave and just put more pressure on. Alright, opponent, would you like a downgrade to a basic mountain? Because that's what I'm offering you today. Alright, looks like they drew their Assassin's Trophy. They must not have a basic swamp then. That's worth noting. And that's why we sequence the way that we do. Yep, alright, that's game 3. I've got to give it to opponent. They actually kept that going. Like, they put forth an effort, and they had the Nature's Claims and the Assassin's Trophies. So, Bradwan, you're saying Lily's going to be better than the Collective Brutality? I kind of agree. Collective Brutality should just come out, but I think Inquisition needs to come in over it because I can Inquisition and take away their Assassin's Trophy. I don't think I want all 3 Lily of the Veils. Possibly just Trim of Damnation. If we're going to win, it's going to look a little bit more like that second game as opposed to the first game. And we need Leyline. We need Leyline. I'm not going any lower than this. I technically need the land. Alright, so we're probably going to lose this one. We are currently 1-1 versus Dredge, but Leyline is how we win this game. Lily of the Veil's probably not going to win this game, but I can at least Fatal Push their first play, Bitterblossom, run out Lily. That's my curve. That's what my deck wants to do. If they have a really good start, and they kept 7 pretty immediately, this isn't going to go anywhere, but I gotta tell you, my Swamp Art's going to be better than their Mountain. Hey, it's also possible that they just kept a hand that had like 3 Nature's Claims and 2 Assassin's Trophies in it, and we're like, they're going to have Leyline for sure, and have no action of themselves. Cathartic Reunion. Selecting cards to discard. Creeping Chill Prized Amalgam. So they didn't have any dredge. They are a little slow right now, and I got the Last Hope. So I have hopes and dreams, guys. Bitterblossom comes out. That'll at least chump block for a little while. That's 1 less Creeping Chill going towards my face, so it's only going to take the 3 for Bloodghast to have haste. But, hey, no Creeping Chills, no dredge. Like, look at that. They're on Shriekhorn. They don't even have another Cathartic Reunion. Whatever. I'm probably going to have an active Last Hope here this turn, so I'm pretty happy. If opponent's smart, they need to wait until my end step for the Shriekhorn. Or they actually probably should have done it there in case they got a Bloodghast, but whatever. I'm not going to be picky. Last Hope's coming out first just because it actually threatens a clock and their deck is fast, as well as if they do happen to get like a Narcomoeba here, I'm looking at 4 damage on the backswing. Yeah, if they hit a Narcomoeba here, I'm in Frowntown. But Last Hope is representing my best chance to win, not to stay alive. Yay! I mean, they found a Dredge 5, so that's a qualified yay, but yay! Nature's Claim also made it so that Bloodghast is like super far away from killing me. That Conflagrate's going to do some stuff. That Conflagrate can kill Lily if they want to empty their hand, which they probably do. Bradwan, how did opponent mess up? Odds are they're just going to pay the red and discard their hand, kill Lily, hit me for 1, and then start dredging and take the game. So you can also do it during your upkeep in case you find another dredger. So they did have a Stinkweed Imp, but yeah, I guess that's their best dredger. All right, so they're low me to get this conflagrate going. I'm on ley lines, so I'm not going to have a way to exile that. That's just going to come out. I need to find counter magic, or they're just going to do it now for 6. They're likely just going to do this now for 6. Yeah, it might have been short-sighted of me to run out Lily Last Hope, but it did feel like it was the best way to win, and they didn't show us the conflagrate yet. The conflagrate was literally the only thing that could change that, other than dredging a Narcomoeba, which I guess that's essentially 6 cards of their 60, so there's a decent shot at it, but this Lily's going to fuel them more than it's going to fuel us. Alright, Mutavault means that I still can't cast Lily and Fatal Push. Mutavault needs to come out, though, because it can at least block for Lily. I can't even block this turn. Yeah, Mutavault's coming out because it will be able to attack next turn, and I have a basic otherwise. This guy can come out. 4 mana is exactly where we want to be at with this deck, unless it's a Snapcaster Cryptic. We need 6, but I don't know why opponent didn't just discard the other 2 cards in hand if they were basics to shoot us for 2. I don't know. Alright, Narcomoebas mean the prized amalgam's coming back. Lily's not going to be able to handle any of that. They're going to have a land drop to get this blood gas back. Things are going kind of downhill, but I don't know. Maybe after playing this matchup, I'm supposed to have relics in here as well. Our graveyard doesn't matter a ton. We could at least take out the Murder's Cut for relics and just not like Snaps and Murder's Cut out for relics and more graveyard hate. So Swamp here means I have Revolt active and can cast Fatal Push. This is actually my first time playing Faeries. Oh boy. Actually, yeah, let's get in. If I can take both Narcomoebas, that turns on Liliana again. Yeah, Brad, you're right. I have 3 Cryptics in my list, so I should have gotten the triple blue. I was wanting to Fatal Push the Prize Amalgam, but had already F6 and didn't think about it. Yeah, now any land drop gets back this Prized Amalgam, as well as the Blood Gas. I guess technically Damnation is live for a turn. Also needed blue in case I get Snapcaster Cryptic. I'm going to need 4 for that. Yeah, this is going downhill. Might be moving to 2-2. Prize Amalgam's trigger goes on the stack. Definitely pushing that this turn so that I only take 2. Well, that is the second Creeping Chill. So 2 more coming. That's going to put me at 15. Taking 2 here is going to put me at 13. Fetching's putting me at 12. So Blood Gas are almost hasty. Assuming that they actually get the other Creeping Chills. They've only got 18 cards left in their deck, which means it's coming. This Fatal Push should also hopefully make it so that they can't get this one back next turn. I'll only have 1 more Prized Amalgam I need to deal with. Oh, the first one triggers it, so that's coming back on my end step. Yep, I remember that now. That's a thing. Mutavault can chump block. I'll still be taking 4-7. I'll be at 11 if I chump block the Prized Amalgam. Well, I found another Narcomoeba, but not the Creeping Chill. They did find another prized amalgam, though. I'm 1 mana off of Ugin mana? Yeah, I should have just played Tron. Alright, so Mutavolt's chump blocking, just that I won't dip too low. Math is right here, isn't it? 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I go to 11. You're not wrong, Seraphix. I think you joined a little late. Our first game was versus Tron, and they had natural Tron. The 2 games, and basically just slammed an Ugin and ate my Bitterblossom, and then slammed a Karn and ate my land. It's like, yep, this is fun magic. I'm glad I signed up for a league today. Alright, so at this point, if I actually chained together Cryptic Commands and Snapcasters, I could mill them out. They don't. Especially because Tron runs main board Relic. Oh, Bradwan. Yes, that happened. Honestly, okay, so I can cast Ugin now. They just cast a Stinkweed Imp and then dredge it and cast a Stinkweed Imp again, and they take 3. Alright, well, I'm king of the 2-3 bracket, but this is actually a legitimate deck, so I would like to actually 3-2 with this. Faeries is technically a real deck if I do go and just Google Faeries in Modern. Almost all of the listings are actually coming up from like 2018, August, July. So this is technically a real deck. It just hasn't put up any results lately. Tron is probably the #1 reason for that. Yeah, here's a primer for January. So we're a little late on the curve, but this deck does exist. Basically, if you want to play Planeswalker Control, this is what you're looking at. In the deck tech, I did kind of moderately cover the fact that you end up running into issues with Jason Liliana being counterproductive strategies. Yeah, I guess you joined a little late too. So after I had my Tron opponent pull out a Karn the Great Creator and get a Trinisphere and then block Karn because I had a Snapcaster on turn 2 and they just had a Trinisphere on turn 3 blocking for Karn, I pulled it up because I was like, oh yeah, they talked about Karn the Great Creator being a combo in Modern and how it's fair and balanced, and yeah. Yeah. I'd love to play first. Single land's not going to cut it. Oh boy. So Pauper, just because I do have it up, there are no changes to other format, but Pauper lit blue on fire. It took out Gush, Gataxian Probe, and Daze. Like, that caught me by surprise. Oh, yeah, hello. Thank you for the overlay. Gush, Gataxian Probe, and Daze. So I have to mulligan this. This is moderately playable. I need another land if I'm going to cast this Jace anytime soon. So I actually did a Pauper Elves video. I love Pauper Elves. It's so much fun. It can grind. It's kind of a combo deck. It can draw your entire deck on the right turn, but I was playing against Delver, and they went down to like 5 cards left in deck, and then they revealed their hand, and it was basically just like a bunch of random counter and burn spells, but they didn't have enough going on to actually make any good use out of it. And so, like, they were clearly in control, but they couldn't figure out how to close the game until they had like 5 cards left, because I just answered their... No, that game was actually, I had multiple Spider Silk armor, so all of my elves were like 1/5s. Okay, so this is fun. I'm about to get comboed super hard. At this moment, I need to draw a piece of interaction. They are very close to pseudo infinite mana, so I'm going to try to thin my deck as much as possible. I don't have Damnation main board, so basically Thoughtseize to get Coco would be good. Inquisition to get the... oh boy. So I can Field of Ruin. I'll have 2 cards in Graveyard for Murderous Cut. I can... yeah, I think I'm on Field of Ruin, just get a card in the graveyard. Alternatively, I can leave up Snapcaster to block if they overcommit into something. Opponent had a single land, but I had a Jace, so we'll see how far this goes. Why do you want to draw stop? I'm perfectly okay waiting until end step for field. I wanted to make sure I could Snapcaster if they attacked in with their Mystic and they were mana screwed. Okay, so I need blue for Cryptic. I actually have enough blue. Whatever. Blue for Cryptic. Thoughtseize. Alright, so I can Jace minus, but he's dead. I can... let's actually take a look at opponent's hand, because odds are I'm going to be Snapcastering here. If not, I still have up Murderous Cut. Ooh boy. Alright, so this is fairly stacked. They're playing Saffron Olive's Elf Ball list. Beast Whisperer lets them just draw their entire deck because they're going to have pseudo-infinite mana with this Heritage Druid. I'm definitely going to be Snap Thoughtseizing here. Shaman of the Pack's representing the most amount of damage in hand. The Archdruid's representing a ton of mana as well as Lord effects. The fact that they got stuck on mana and we had no early plays were fantastic for us. So they're going to have 3 mana next turn. I'm definitely taking this Heritage Druid, and I probably have to take the Archdruid. The Beast Whisperer is bad too. Beast Whisperer is going to be a little bit slower. If they tap out for Beast Whisperer, then I can at least Murderous Cut that. So we're going to take the Druid here. Going to Snapcaster the Thoughtseize. Yep. Basically, if I let them keep this Heritage Druid, they can tap the Nettle Sentinels and whatever they play out and get 3 mana and then play something else, untap the Nettle Sentinels and have infinite mana here. I'm going to be taking the Archdruid. This Shaman of the Pack's going to hurt, but I think I have to let them keep it. Archdruid Lording's going to make them attack in for, geez, like 11 damage, and I'm at 11. Yep, this is where we're at. And I misted this, so that's what they have left in hand. %100% snap blocking here. Jace Brainstorm into a fetch land for Murderous Cut seems best. Jace bounce Nettle Sentinels, also kind of okay if I draw a land. Ooh, okay. Push means I can push, cut. I'm only on the table for 3. But I need to do this before they untap. Actually, am I taking their Elvish Mystic here? I think I'm taking their Elvish Mystic. I'm 100% taking their Elvish Mystic. If I Brainstorm and miss a Black Source, though, I'm dead on table. Actually, I'm at 7. Alright. I'm going to listen to Twitch chat here. Swamp. Hey, we found a swamp. Okay, so swamp will allow me to Murderous Cut, clearing my graveyard. Fatal Push is just a cast. I kind of want to leave Mistbind No, Mistbind Click. I can't actually activate, so these two have to go back. Yeah, that Mistbind Click there is super awkward. I don't have another fairy to champion, so I just hit the table and die. Twitch chat is far more confident than myself. I must be a timid man. Alright, so opponent is currently looking at 7 damage. I have 1 on the table. They have a Shaman of the Pact in hand. Oh boy. I are super dead. I really need to kill this Mystic. Alright, so Jace is dead regardless of what I do, so you're correct. He's going to eat some damage for me. I'm okay to take the 1, but I'm probably going to Fatal Push this Mystic right now. Also shuffles away the Mistbind Clicks that I can't do anything with. This is probably the other Nettle Sentinel. Yeah, I probably need a Damnation main board. I've needed that a couple of times tonight. Alright, yeah, I have 2 in the sideboard. Lily Last Hope's probably my best draw, so opponent's currently representing 8 damage at 6, so first things first. I'm just going to kill the things that I actually care about here, because this Shaman's still going to kill me. Opponent shouldn't have any way to actually like flicker that, get rid of the Field of Ruin. I'm currently taking 4 Cryptic Command. It's probably one of my better draws. Lily Last Hope's a pretty decent draw, although I'll be dead on table if I get her. I guess I could actually play her minus and get Snap, but that's not winning. I don't have enough mana to do anything else with it. Meanwhile, opponent's just going to be sitting on the Shaman that's lethal. Collective Brutality would be... I don't have another card to discard. Leaving cards back, huh? They must have drawn another Heritage Druid. Yep. Taps, that's a Shaman, and I'm dead. Alright. Well, opponent pieced it together. So, Damnation. Are you a good card? I think you're a good card. I can't read you. Destroy all creatures? Yeah, you're a good card. Dismember is probably worth it just for the Lords. Also kills an Azuri. Fulminator's cute just because they have a very low land count, but it's probably not good enough. Negate, I'm guessing that they're not the Coco build if they're on Beast Whisperer, so I just need to be able to kill Beast Whisperer. Disdainful Stroke, what's that going to hit? I'm assuming they're not on Coco, so it'll hit Beast Whisperer, but it's not going to hit Shaman of the Pact, it's not going to hit Archdruid, it's, I think Azuri's 3? Oh, I need to actually do that correctly. Hey, unlike Scryfall, this actually tells me what I want. That's nice. Yeah, he costs 3. He's also killed by Brutality. I think I just want Brutality. This is technically a aggressive matchup. Mana Leak's probably bad because they can just generate infinite mana. Glenalendra's bad. I'm not going to be countering any non-creatures from them. Thoughtseize is also probably bad. I don't want to trade 1 CMC for 1 CMC. Yeah, but is that argument valid for Thoughtseize? Because that puts me off tempo and costs life and then trades for a creature. V-Click can at least block. I can trim a V-Click. I also don't want to go down too many cards that I can champion with Mistbind Click. Yeah, this seems fine. I really don't like the idea of Thoughtseize. Inquisition's fine, but they're just better cards. Alright, this is slow as... Yeah, Mistbinds actually might have been a fine trim. It kills so many of the Lorded Elves, though. This hand's just too slow. This hand is many things that I want in life. It's not a Fatal Push or an Inquisition, but it's many things that I want. My Scry's going to probably get messed up. I'm not going to want to pay 2 life for the shock. Ooh, Snap Brutality is probably not good enough. If I had a push, I could do it. Mistbind is really good for the tempo plays. So, like, if you can get like a fairy or two on the table. Yeah, I was going to mess this up anyway. If you can get a fairy or two on the table and counter their stuff, like you Spellstutter, then Mistbind, you keep them tapped down, and then you Mistbind and keep them tapped down, and then you Jace the Mistbind and keep them tapped down, and you can just continuously tap them down while attacking for 4, and that's what the Mistbind does. It's competing for really, really good 4-drops in the deck, so it's a little hard to evaluate, but it is just... It's everything I want in the deck. It tempos, it's a large body, it taps them down, it's annoying. So I have a choice here. I can Bitterblossom and start committing to my board, or I can Collective Brutality, get rid of the Sentinel. If I don't kill the Sentinel and they drop out another Sentinel and a Heritage Druid, I'm in terrible condition. But I'm not going to win this game if I don't have something going on for myself, so I'm going to Bitterblossom. But if this is a land into another Nettle Sentinel and a Heritage Druid, then I made poor decisions. If this is just a Land of War Elves, then I made fantastic decisions. Oh, Visionary's not bad. Alright, so are we putting them on Coco at this point? Am I supposed to escalate this brutality or just hold it as general removal? They still won't actually be able to Coco until next turn, so I'm just going to make my commitment here. If I need to escalate, I'll escalate the next one. But I can't imagine they're on Coco. Archdruid? Alright, well that eats a Collective Brutality quite nicely. Yeah, I'm not doing anything about that. Wait, what? I didn't get a fetch? That's a bad deck. Bad. So I'm not putting them on Coco. I'm really not putting them on Coco. Alright, well, we're taking some damage here. I do like my life total, though. Elvish Mystic doesn't really do anything great. Okay, now it's looking like they're a little bit flooded. I'm thinking I actually might be discarding this V-Click to a escalated Collective Brutality if I get a land here. I can technically Murderous Cup, but that's going to clear my graveyard, making my Snapcaster super bad. Spellstutter Sprite. Alright, well, I have multiple fairies. Spellstutter Sprite can hit Coco. So that's fine. Oh yeah, they're flooding out super hard over there. Clan Caller. Yeah, that's going to eat a Murderous Cut after they attack. Alright, so I have to eat my graveyard here, which means I'm probably going to be using this V-Click to get rid of my Snapcaster. Take 5, go to 6, go to 5 at upkeep. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, opponent's been doing some weird sequencing on their cards here. But that is perfectly acceptable. Shaman of the Pack didn't kill me. Now opponent's out of cards. Island. I actually think I have to run that island out. But for the time being, 2 fairies can get in safely. Running out the island in case I draw into a Cryptic or a Jace. Probably flashing in Vendilion Click as a blocker. Ooh, I could have done draw step. Yeah, Serafix, you're right. I should have done draw step. Alright. Click comes down. I am going to shuffle away the Snapcaster just because it's not doing anything for me at the moment. No, I don't want to cast Snapcaster. I want to put it on the bottom. Okay, and Mistbind Click is exactly what I want to be doing here. So I get to tap down their lands. Field of Ruin's sad, but I get to swing in for 7, tap down all their lands, eat my Bitterblossom. They won't be able to overrun. I actually need to do combat math here for a second. So they'll be able to swing in for 4 if Click dies. And I want to leave this Field of Ruin, so... Oh, it's a non-land? Yeah, that doesn't work. Oh, they can overrun in response to the V-Click. Yeah, alright. Oh, this 1 toughness is rough. So I can hit for 7, but then I'm just dead on the backswing. If I let him overrun, that's going to be 4, 8, 15. That includes himself, so 20. Currently soak up 4, 5, 6, 10. Yeah, I'm super dead. All right, well, I'm going to click at their upkeep and see how that goes down. If I Field of Ruin, that doesn't fix anything. Pause to read Mistbind Click. Hey! Who thought that was going to happen? High fives? Anyone? Oh, all right. I didn't deserve that. Not even a little bit. I still think this is ideal. I've just got to plan on doing something a little bit better than Collective Brutality before turn 4. Hopefully keep some actual removal. High fives, anyone? No? Okay, so this is a Fatal Push Inquisition, 4/4 drops though. I don't think I can keep this. All I have is a Fatal Push, and I have some really good cards in this matchup. Alright, well that's at least acceptable. That's a turn 1 play, a turn 2 play, and kind of a topper. Mutavault allows me to cast Jace. Also gives me a 2/2 blocker. That seems fine, although I'd prefer something better. Rocky, I know you have small dog syndrome. You can stop barking, though. Yeah, I mean, I could have bought him expecting to get another land, but worst case, I can escalate Brutality. I really don't think opponents on Coco. This is just kill target creature. Kill target unlorded creature. Alright, so I'm likely going to be... Yeah, I gotta take my first shock. Show me what you got. You have the mana. This Brutality can kill the Archdruid. Yeah, I'm taking the... Ooh. Card advantage. I can't let them just sit there and cantrip. There's an argument to take the Elite because it's a 2, but I can draw into 2 Damnations. And the token can't get in through Mutavault. If they miss their land drop here, definitely eating the Elvish Mystic. Yep. Alright, so hopefully keep them on a 1-lander. And Lily is a fantastic next draw. Brutality, kill your Mana Dork. They found another Mana Dork. Oh! Chat, I might need to change my pants. I might have just done something naughty to them. Ooh, boy. If you miss your land drop this turn, opponent, I would think it's game over. You gotta hit Lily. You've had some really weird sequencing, opponent, but you have to hit Lily here. I can Fate Seal them here. First things first, kill your Mana Dork. The Planeswalker control. I need more Lily's Triumphs in this deck. That card was just amazing. Alright, Jace, you want to come down and try to keep opponent off land drops? Because that's how Twitch chat likes it. Yes, I'm going to put that to the bottom for you. And, yay, Faeries! So, I've been playing a lot of janky decks lately. I might actually take up a string of somewhat competitive decks. Oh yeah, Seraphix, and on also somewhat related note, I did stream Strawberry Shortcake yesterday. It's up on the YouTube channel. It did alright. We hit some rough matchups, but it actually did alright. Let's go ahead and open our treasure chest here. Not added to the deck. Come on, open one of these. That's what I want. Okay, well, 15 play points, so yay. But the deck, Faeries. It is definitely competitive. I didn't necessarily give it to the best showing. We did have a couple of rough matchups. Tron and Dredge are both just like, I mean, that's what Modern is, but Tron just stomped on us. Like, they hit their good draws. Dredge we took our game with the ley line. You're supposed to take both games with the ley line, but we mulled to 5 and didn't see one. I didn't want to go much slower than that. Seeing as our curve is basically 3 and 4 drops, like, it's so rough. 23 lands is slightly on the underside, especially when you have Field of Ruins and Mutavaults and the like. But this deck is a real thing. It's fun. It kind of goes through phases where it can kind of do something, and then people start hating it out. It just scoops Zealous Persecution. I'm guessing we're going to get a lot of like -1/-1 effects similar to Massacre Girl, Toxic Deluge, Massacre with Modern Horizons. Like, we're probably going to get some effects like that, and Faeries is going to go downhill a lot. Collective Brutality is a way to recurse after Bitterblossom, but Bitterblossom is always kind of like, you don't want to top deck it late, and it does a lot of damage to you if you get it early, but Spellstutter Sprite is like the best card in the deck. If you can turn that on, it's fantastic. Bitterblossom's so much fun. I know standard players are used to the new Amass one on your upkeep. You want a Kalitas in the, or Cletus? Yeah, I mean, he kind of does some stuff. I guess it would have actually worked versus Dredge, but okay, that's fair. I'm going to lean on Seraphix. He's usually right. But Spellstutter Sprite's the best card in this matchup. If you see it a lot, it's great. I actually probably would go up to 2 Lilianas, the Last Hopes. I don't think Lily of the Veil is positioned very well for this deck. It does not work very well with Jace, but Last Hope does actually kill a bunch of those little creatures you have problems dealing with. I think we lost... No, we beat Affinity. No, we lost... I can't remember. Dredge was rough. Affinity was a good game, but I can't remember how it turned out, and we just got stomped by Tron. So Vel and Jace, you want a plus and minus on the same turns, and usually you can't do that for more than one turn back to back. So Jace bounces, Lily makes him discard with this last card in hand. Lily makes you discard your card, and then Jace is hopefully going to brainstorm to replace it, but it's a little uneven. They want to do different things, and they are kind of synergistic, but you can say that about a lot of cards. Last Hope was just great, though. Either way, fun deck. It's really meta dependent. People live and die by Faeries, and it's definitely a good deck to live by, but I don't know. There's not much to be said. It's blue-black control, and it's kind of tempo-y. It has a lot of lines. I think Seraphix is disagreeing with me on the misbind clicks. Probably replace those with Kalitas. Being able to tap down lands we saw in a couple of games, like, it just really wrecked people. It is quite difficult. This is my first time running it through, and I definitely made some play mistakes. We probably could have beat Dredge if I had played correctly, but Spellstutter Sprite makes you go off tempo. You have to commit to a Bitterblossom on turn 2 when you can die on turn 3 in Modern. Like, I don't know. Good deck, and it's hard for me to try to sell a good deck because it's already good. I try to sell the decks that I play that are really janky, and this has a home. So I'm assuming you're watching this if you enjoyed it, but... Thanks, everybody, for watching. Like, subscribe, YouTube, all that BS. I hate plugging, but all that stuff. If you are watching the YouTube exclusives, feel free to head over to Twitch. It's just twitch.tv/thirteene. Your subscriptions there can go whether I'm online or not. Subscriptions, your follows can go online there, even if I'm not online. Been playing 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Sunday. Brad One's playing Tuesday, Thursday. We're playing a lot of fun decks. Check out our channel, and thanks for watching.